Good morning. We're here for the mayor's hearing, budget hearing for Public Works this morning. And I'm joined this morning by the finance director, Ms. Talia Lomax O'Neill. I'm still waking up a little bit, I guess. And the city's chief strategy officer, Brian Kelsey. No council members here yet, but I'm sure we'll be joined by some as we move along. Before we get started, just a brief introduction. As you know from talking to the finance department and maybe watching one of these hearings before now, the city has had significant revenue increases over the last couple of years, more than $200 million. This year we're not expecting quite as much. So as a result, departments have been asked to present essentially a status quo budget to the finance department. That way we can continue to provide the same level of services to the community and maintain the current historically low tax rate that we have in the city. So, having said that, if you would introduce yourself and those who are with you, give us a brief introduction, point out anything you'd like to, and then we'll probably have a few questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I am Sharon Wallstrom. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Works. Our Director, Mayor Sturdivant, was unable to be here today, so I am speaking on his behalf. We have brought several members of our leadership team with us, and I would like to introduce them. We have 3 Assistant Directors. Sharon Smith is to my left, Don Reed is to my right, and Jeff Hammond is sitting behind me. Devin Doyle is our Engineering Manager. Jesse Turner represents our IT section. Charles Bodie is our HR manager. Courtney Stone is our Public Works communications person. And Kristen Cumrow is our finance manager. With that said, Mayor, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you for the message that you sent to all the Metro employees shortly after you were sworn in. And the staff here today wants to echo your words and thank our Public Works employees. We want to recognize their hard work and their commitment to their job and to the citizens of Nashville. Public Works employees are literally working night and day to ensure the ability to safely travel Nashville's roads, sidewalks, bridges, and bikeways. As you know, Mayor, they collect trash, recycling, brush, storm debris. They also salt the roads during the snowstorms, fix potholes, provide traffic calming, clean downtown, and install and repair signals and signs, just to name a few of the services that our dedicated employees provide, and we want to thank them. Some of the Public Works projects that were completed over the last 2 years have been most notably the Division Street Bridge. This opened to the public in November. This bridge connects key commercial corridors and features a pedestrian plaza, wide sidewalks, and a buffered bicycle zone that is separated from the road via bollards. The bridge's landscaping amenities capture and filter stormwater roll-off, and the project includes overhead LED lighting as well as LED lighting on the rails along the bridge. We have also built 22 miles of new sidewalk, and we've repaired 32 miles of existing sidewalk. We have created 21 new miles of bike lanes, and in 2016, we resurfaced or repaved 163 lane miles, and due to some of the capital money that we received in 17, we were able to increase that number to 287 lane miles. Public Works has also released a new online tool that enables the public to review all of the capital projects that are occurring around the county, in their neighborhoods, and on their streets. The Capital Project Viewer also displays project schedules and budgets, and there have been over 4,800 hits on this site since it went live late last year. In partnership with Metro ITS, we have completed an audit of the Public Works IT systems that Mr. Sturdivant spoke about last year. This has helped Public Works to identify any risks and opportunities that we have to leverage our systems into something that is a more business-centric IT solution, so that we can increase our efficiencies and our data accuracy and help our employees and move forward. Public Works was also able to accommodate all of last year's special event needs, which are considerable in the city of Nashville. Last year, we were hosting the Stanley Cup at the same time as the CMA Music Festival, and our employees worked long, hard hours to make sure that all the visitors to Nashville were able to have a stress-free and safe time in our great city. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Sharon Smith to talk about some of the items in her area.
So earlier this year, we started working on our long-term master plan for Nashville and Davidson County that we had received funding for. This plan is going to take into consideration the upcoming closure of the Middle Point landfill and how that will affect not only us, but also other 19 counties in our region. It is also going to take into consideration that with that closure, we're going to need to significantly reduce the waste we're landfilling. So to date, we've done a waste characterization looking at the breakdown of the waste that we generate here in Davidson County so we know what areas to focus on for the future. We have had a task force set up to get input from the public, and we're going to be having more of those type of meetings in the future. We've been looking at successful programs around the country that have been able to divert significant amounts of waste. And we also have been having regional conversations. As many people know, our regional mayors meet routinely on transit, but in the past year or so, they have added trash to their agenda because it is such an important regional issue. Later this year, we're going to be doing public meetings and getting more public input before a draft of the document goes out. Also, as I believe you're aware, Public Works hosts the Hub, which is the online and phone call system where constituents can call in and submit service requests and get questions answered. The Hub has been a great way to centralize those requests and make it easier for residents to access government information, programs, and to submit requests. To date, we have taken about 49,000 requests, and approximately 86 of those relate directly to Public Works.
86%.
Yes, what did I say?
86.
Oh, 86%.
86.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Over the last couple of years, we've also received additional money for new programs, and I want to talk briefly about the on-demand trash truck, sometimes called the roving trash truck. This vehicle and the staff respond to litter complaints, but they also have helped us to go from being reactive to a little more proactive, especially on areas that we already know have large amounts of litter. And so this truck is out. When people call in, it can be dispatched to different areas. With all of Public Works litter and illegal dumping programs, so far this fiscal year, we've picked up over 900 tons. And as part of our efforts to be fiscally responsible, Public Works has applied for and received a $200,000 non-matching grant from the Tennessee Department of Transportation that is going to help us expand our litter prevention programs, but also give us some money for some media related to litter prevention. Also, on January 3rd, we started our downtown Honky-Tonk glass recycling program. This program is going to eventually cover about 35 honky-tonks in the downtown area. We're phasing it in, starting with the Ryman Alley, and now we're moving down Broadway. This gives us the opportunity to work through any issues with, because these are a lot of different owners, managers, staff that we're working with. So far, since then, in about 6 weeks, we've picked up 85 tons, not percent, of glass. The glass is being transported to a recycler in Atlanta called Strategic Materials, where it is made into more glass bottles, fiberglass, and other glass products.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Last year, Public Works received partial funding to begin a USD annexation process, and this is in Councilmember Van Reese, Pridemore, and Anthony Davis's districts. And the process has already started. We've begun installing streetlights in that area, and we'll begin providing trash and recycling services prior to October of this year. We received additional funding from the council last year to add a sign and signals installation and repair crew, as well as an additional right-of-way repair and maintenance crew employee. In 2017, we handled 1,804 sign and signal maintenance requests, and 90% of those were done the same day, so provided same-day service. And this is compared to 2015, when we responded to 1,380 requests, and 87% of those were same-day service. 2 years ago, we received funding to add a downtown cleaning crew, additional parking enforcement, an infrared road repair crew, and additional staffing in our permits and inspection area. With all that said, this year, as Mayor Briley said, we are asking for a status quo budget. With that in mind, we are only requesting money for program continuations and for contractual cost increases. The first thing that we're asking for is the remaining funding that we need to provide the services for the annexed area. We received partial funding this year, but we'll need the remaining funding for the light installation, the trash, and the recycling collection. We're also requesting funding for our annual contractual increases, and these contracts are for trash collection, for refuse disposal, and for NES rate increases. Public Works is also expecting an increase in repair and maintenance expenditures for the downtown library garage and for the public square garage. However, these expenses are offset by the parking revenues that are collected in those garages. Public Works has also this year upgraded our traffic signal boxes to provide a more rapid communication, and will need additional funding for the telecommunication charges related to that upgrade. As we mentioned earlier, Public Works handles traffic and cleaning issues related to all of the special events, and so we're requesting additional overtime money for our Public Works staff who work during those special events. The last request we have is for additional money to pay Metro Sweeping Contractor to begin sweeping the bike lanes as well as the roadways. And with that said, we look forward to working with you on the ongoing budget, and we are ready to discuss and answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. We have, as I predicted, been joined by two council members, Council Lady Tanika Vercher, the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, and Councilman Jeremy Elrod, who's the chair of the Public Works Committee. Thank you for coming. Ms. O'Neill, do you have any?
I do have just one question. The Finance Department received funding in the substitute budget to work with Public Works and the Fire Department to do a fee study.
Correct.
That is in draft form, as the report is, as I understand it. Can you share anything regarding that report with us today, preliminarily at least, what you're saying?
I received the last version a couple of days ago, and I think it's going to be the final version, but we're still looking at some things. Some of the fees that were looked at definitely call for an increase, and some of the fees that we looked at preliminarily are showing a decrease. So there could be a potential revenue loss depending on how the recommendations come out and the discussions that we'll have about that.
But you expect that to be wrapped up in the next couple of weeks for us to consider for the budget? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I know I have a council member back there that's very interested in that fee study.
We have spoken.
A couple questions. Given that we're in a kind of status quo budgeting environment, this may not be the year to do it, but I know you've looked into every other week recycling. That's something we get asked about quite a bit. So I was hoping you could maybe just touch on just the high-level points about kind of what that would look like if we were going to do that one day.
Well, and thank you for asking. We are hoping to still apply for grants. The opportunity that Nashville has right now, I think, is a little unique because there is several grants coming out that TDEC has never had before. One will be next month, which would allow us to get up to $500,000 for capital costs, and the next one would be probably in June to July, which could potentially fund $100,000 per truck. And then there's a nonprofit organization called the Recycling Partnership that works with large corporations, for example, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, to fund curbside recycling programs in cities because it's in their best interest for their products to be recycled. So all in all, we have the potential to raise almost all of the $4.5 million needed. We would the only amount that would need to come out of the capital budget would be about $1.5 million. So it is a really kind of unique opportunity for us. I would like to go ahead and start applying for those. I actually was going to try and reach out to you and see if that was something you still wanted us to do. And with the goal that we would raise that money this coming fiscal year. If we got that money, the only commitment we would need is the $1.5 million, and then we would purchase the equipment, which could take 6+ months, and it wouldn't be until partway through FY20 that we would even be talking about the operational piece. So it's, like I said, it's kind of a unique opportunity for us. The state has been focused on funding programs for the most rural counties and then the counties that have the largest waste. So that's one reason why Davidson County is in kind of a unique position at the moment.
The other question I wanted to ask, we get asked quite a bit about converting all the street lighting to LEDs. And why can't Public Works just go out there and why can't we get this done? They'll pay for themselves over time. Can you just go through some of the challenges on street lighting when it comes to doing something sort of whole scale like that?
Right. We have taken a look at that, and the poles would have to be completely retrofitted with new fixtures. And currently the poles are owned by NES. And so if we wanted to come in and do some kind of a P3 situation, or we wanted to work with a vendor to provide all the capital cost up front, then we would basically need to own the poles. And so at this point, because the cost of the poles would be so expensive to purchase from NES and the cost of the fixtures, we have decided to wait and take a further look at that and try to find a different way to fund that or some different options that we can do.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what is the current contract we have for waste disposal at Middle Point? Is that right?
Middle Point
Yes, sir.
landfill. Yes.
When does that end?
That contract, so it was a 20-year contract, and it has 2 5-year extensions. This first 20-year period ends January of 2022, but by January of 2020, we need to decide if we want to exercise the right to extend that contract. So that's something Sharon and I've talked about pretty regularly, is what do we want to do. So prior to January of 2020, we need to decide if we're putting out another RFP. But I think ultimately the Public Works goal is to work through this master plan and to start instituting, serious waste reduction programs before that landfill closes.
And so the extensions, it would not matter that Middle Point closed. The contractor still has an obligation to dispose of the waste at the contracted price.
Exactly. Our contract is actually with the transfer station in Davidson County.
Right. I remember that contract. I was there.
Yes, you
I voted against it, if I remember correctly.
I believe you did.
I think I was one of the few who voted against that one. Not that I was necessarily right at the time, but I do remember that. All right. And what is the potential operating cost of having the biweekly recycling pickup ultimately?
Yeah, we have looked at, like, if we were to do it sooner, because it's sort of difficult to project, what employee costs would be, but it'd be about $1 million a year
Annually.
Additional. Yeah.
And that's net of whatever proceeds from, I don't know what the contract is for sorting and disposal of the recycling.
That does not include potential revenue. The way our contract works is we have a revenue sharing agreement with the contractor based on market prices. So in looking at the budget, it looks like we got more revenue this last year than we did the previous year, so it kind of goes up and down. But working with the Bloomberg Foundation, because they've looked at this program as well, they believe that over time, if curbside recycling was more frequent, we believe a lot of other cities show that it would make it easier for people to develop a habit around it. We would likely see increased tonnages. The curbside partnership folks are wanting to help fund, which is something I didn't mention, some education to increase that. So it is potential to start seeing our operational costs offset by revenue increases over time.
Yeah. Well, I'm very interested in pursuing that. I think it's the right thing for the city to do. So if y'all could get with Mr. Kelsey and show me sort of a pro forma of what the total cost would be and sources of revenue and such, I'd be glad to
Be happy to do that. Yeah.
make a final decision on whether or not to proceed on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.